It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I want to thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the podcast. I am so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you listeners. And you are in for an absolutely amazing show today, as I have with me my incredible returning diva, Deb Matlock. And her and I are actually going to chat about today being thankful and grateful. What a perfect time of the season to bring it back into everyone's mind of being thankful and grateful. So, Deb, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. As Joyce said, I am Deb Matlock. I am coming to you from Colorado in the U.S. I have a small business called Wild Rhythms, where I focus on the connection, the deep and sacred connection between people, earth, and animals, and the world of spirit. And I offer retreats and workshops and practitioner trainings for nature connection practitioners as well. And I'm really excited to talk about this topic today. It just feels so perfect in my heart.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Because just everything you're doing, you are already being thankful. And it fills in my heart of all the nature and bringing people to see all that full circle web that we all create together. So, what a beautiful, beautiful introduction of yourself, Deb, and a beautiful introduction into our being thankful and grateful. So, as we start, I mean, I can think of so many things, but with you hold different classes and different things. How do you help your clients to understand of being thankful and grateful each and every day?
You know, when I think about this kind of topic, I like to think of it as a kind of like a lifestyle choice. Because, you know, it's one thing for us to be grateful, and I love things like gratitude journals, you know, at the end of the day, jotting down 3 things you're grateful for. I think that's a beautiful practice. And I think we can take it one step deeper if we sort of say to ourselves, I'm just going to orient towards this. You know, I'm going to orient towards, I'm so grateful that bird was chirping and it sounded so beautiful and it lifted my heart. Or I'm so grateful that the person in front of me at the red light moved up a little bit so that I could get out of the turn lane. And, you know, I'm so grateful for little things. I think if we allow ourselves to look around us for what we're grateful for, even in the times of trauma and chaos and hurt and grief and all the things that we all, as humans on this planet, we're all going to go through all of those things. We're going to have those really awful days where we just, you know, everything seems to be just going all in the wrong direction. You know, but if we just sort of say, okay, I'm not going to ignore the fact that I'm upset or I'm hurt or I'm angry, that's all valid too, but I'm also going to look for where am I grateful? Oh, you know what? I'm grateful that I went to the store today and they had the kind of lettuce I was looking for. Oh, that is just great. You know, little things, big things. I think if we allow ourselves to orient that way, we start to see the web of connections that we are a part of. And we start to see the ways that we can do things that allow others to be grateful for our actions, even if we never know who they are or how they appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, how very true that is. And like you said, the little things. And even if you're having a challenging day, be thankful for the air that you're breathing. And just be thankful that just for little things like that. As I'm sitting outside here today and I'm seeing the leaves falling off the trees and they're just falling to the ground, and it's such a beautiful sight. And there was just a red bird, and there's other little birds flying around, and just being thankful and noticing them, because they they feel it too. They feel when us humans are thankful for their presence or for what they are giving into this full circle web of life.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, and I think that's such an important point, that our feeling grateful, sharing thankfulness, expressing that either just in our heart center or in some outward gesture. I think there's a little bit of it for us that we get from that, and a whole lot that we give to the world around us, people, animals, the planet. I just feel like it's such a beautiful expression of outward gifting. And at the same time, it helps us stay grounded, and it helps us to feel the truth of our own lives. Because I think that's, I get sometimes frustrated when, gratitude gets popped around there like the daily catchphrase or the latest trend, But I think it's really a deeply sacred act. It's not a trend at all.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. It is something that comes from the heart, is how I feel. I'm like you. Yeah, the word gets kind of tossed around sometimes. And is it really coming from the heart, or is it coming from people's minds that they think this is just something they got to do? And to me, it doesn't take on the sacred meaning when it comes from the head versus coming from your heart, and really being grateful. And when you mentioned the animals, such a small gesture as just giving them your dog, giving them a pet, or your cat, just giving it a pet, or when you feed them, the joy that they show, and just them being near you. They can be so overwhelmed just by being beside you. They show, so to me, the animals show so much gratitude, and it truly comes from their heart, because they are just happy. They're just happy that you're there. They're happy to be with you. They're happy to have the food in front of them. They're not worried about that next moment, what's to come. They're living in that present moment and being grateful for what they have. So when you said that about animals, it just came to my mind about the dogs and the cats and even the horses, how happy they are in the mornings when I come out to feed them. And they've always told me, live in the present moment. And I think when you live from the heart, you can really see that gratitude in the present moment.
Oh, I love that. I think you're right, and even in times where our head may be really what's spinning us all over the place, how could that person be so rude to cut me off in traffic, and how could this and how could that, our heart doesn't always follow that path. Our heart sometimes is saying, well, yeah, we just got cut off in traffic, but they had this really beautiful bumper sticker that just made me feel inspiration, and now I appreciate that, and I wouldn't have seen the bumper sticker had they not butted in front of me. I think our heart can sometimes look at the world a little bit differently. And again, I'm not saying we should bypass our emotions or the truth of our experience. I think that's where some of this stuff can get a little off the rails, or we don't allow ourselves to sit down and cry because we're supposed to be grateful. But it's in that moment to say, okay, I'm grateful for the moment to sit down and cry. There's still a place for that true, honest, heartfelt gratitude without denying the truth of the experiences that we're having. I think that's the key.
Oh, I so agree with you. So true. And just being grateful that, like you said, to have that moment if you feel you need to have that cry. If the challenges are getting too much, be grateful that you have a way to to me, it's kind of a release. It kind of lets your body release some of it that needs to come out. The heart knows you need that cry. And just take it for that. And just be even grateful for it, that you can have it. And just look at it in a different perspective is how I kind of always think about it. And just be grateful that you can have that cry. Or if you're having a challenging day and you're at work and you're like, okay, I got a 15-minute break. I'm going to get out, or I'm going to just walk away from this. And just be grateful that you can have that moment to just walk away and kind of come back with a different perspective sometimes is how it seems to happen. And you're seeing things in a different light when you can get away from that situation for just even a moment and just take a breath, breathing. Be thankful that you can take that breath and breathe and release some of it. So those are some thoughts that were coming to my mind too.
Yeah, and, and what those are making me think of is the idea that our own journey of thankfulness, it's like so many spiritual parts of our lives, well, I think all of our life really, that's, it's a personal journey. I mean, nobody can tell anybody what their spiritual path is supposed to look like or what they're supposed to feel or believe, right? I mean, we have to find our truth. We have to find our way. And I think it's the same with thankfulness and gratitude. And one of the examples that comes to mind, I see this often, and it comes from the best intended place. But let's say somebody posts on Facebook that they've lost a beloved animal companion. Their dog of 16 years has passed away, and they're devastated. And they share pictures and a nice little, memorial, paragraphs, and they get support and love, and then every now and then there's those comments that show up like, well, just be grateful that you had so many years together. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, yeah, there is gratefulness in that. I had a dog who passed away at a very young age from aggressive cancer, and now that I have a very elderly dog, I'm grateful. But it's not appropriate for somebody else to tell somebody when to feel grateful. If that person's grieving the loss of their dog, it may not be the time yet. They may come to that, oh, I'm so glad I know this dog and she was part of my life. But I feel like sometimes I see those comments, and sometimes what it feels like to me it's saying is, bypass what you're really feeling right now and just be grateful. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that anybody means that. I'm sure they don't. But I think this is where, if we allow our sacred relationship with gratitude and thankfulness to be what it is, we can move ourselves through our lives in these deeply connected ways where we're feeling and connecting in our relationships with the humans and more than humans and the natural world, and all of this, we just find our own little thread all the way through everything, and that thread is our gratefulness, our thankfulness, and our understanding of ourselves being in that dance.
Oh, I love that. Yes, being in that dance. And each one of us has our own spiritual journey on that, and each one of us feels the thankfulness and gratefulness in different ways. And there's no right, there's no wrong to the way you feel it. It's how you personally feel it for yourself. Because one person, like you said, about losing the dog or losing a animal companion like that, you have to go through the grief too. And for me, I know I have to. It's part of it. It's part of getting to, yes, you're still thankful and grateful the years you had them, but there's still that void in your life that they're not right there beside you. So you do grieve that, and I feel that you need that to get through, to go on to the next stage of being thankful and grateful that you had the long life with them and remembering all the beautiful memories you've had with them and everything. And now that they're just with you in another realm, they're your angels now watching over you and being thankful and grateful for this. But you each have to go through it in your own way. Like I said, there's no right, there's no wrong, and you and I are just sharing our own personal experiences and how we feel, and I feel if each one can pick up a tip or a tool to help them to go on their spiritual journey and feel that thankfulness and gratefulness, that's what it's all about. We're not saying how you should do it. We're just giving you some tips and tools to work with.
Absolutely, and I think that's what excites me about it, is that it is something that I think is like I mentioned a minute ago, like the thread through our lives. It's like our own artistry. Mm-hmm. It's our own path. And, like when the dog I just mentioned, died of a young age of an aggressive cancer, I was not immediately grateful. I was angry at the universe. I was devastated. My expression and my journey at that point was not eloquent. It was messy. And I was not happy with it, because she was a border collie mix who died at the age of 7, and that was about less than half of her lifespan expectancy, and I now can see, I have faith in her journey and her experience and why she had to go, and I do have a lot of gratefulness and thankfulness for our time and what we shared even at the end. And there's still a little piece of me that was like, well, darn it all, like, why couldn't she get to be, I think we have to allow the humanness of ourselves, right? And and also looking for the places of areas for thankfulness. I think can sometimes help us to manage some of those human emotions and those human anxiousness moments and all the things that are so charmingly, I don't know. I mean, every animal can get anxious, but I think we humans have a really impressive ability to sometimes blow that all out of proportion.
Oh, definitely. Our
and
minds are always
can help us. Yeah.
Yeah. Our minds take over, and they're going 100 miles an hour on everything that's going on and happening, and how it should have been, and how it could have been, and how we want it to be.
Yeah, when I wake up at 3 in the morning with my mind racing, and I look around at all of my dogs and cats that are sprawled all over the bed, and the bed's on the floor, and everyone's sound asleep, I was like, man, they've got something figured out that I don't have. But okay, I'll be grateful for their example as I lay here and be human for a minute, because I can't get my brain to turn off.
Oh, how true it is. But in that moment, I love what you said. You're grateful that they can lay there and have the peace and quiet and show you that it can be done. You just have to they're in that present moment where they're like, okay, it's time to sleep.
Right. Like, I don't know why the human's up again, but, I'm just going to open my eye and then close it right back down again,
Exactly. I'll just let them know that I'm aware that they're there and I'm going back to sleep.
That's right. If they really need me, they can wake me up, but,
Oh, that's cute. I love that. Oh. Well, and to me, November, being the fall season and being Thanksgiving, it's just kind of a month to be reminded. Sometimes we get so busy, we kind of maybe even go off our spiritual journey path because we're so busy with the daily tasks that our to-do list that need to be done. And November to me is kind of a month as a reminder to take a moment, take a breath, step back, and look at all that's been around me. Even if you look over the past year, all the thankfulness and gratefulness through the challenges and with the happy times and with all of it. To me, November is just a good month to start to go back and look at all of that and maybe reset the compass on being thankful and grateful and finding different ways to do that for each individual.
Oh, you just gave me chills when you said that, resetting the compass. I love that. It's like this is a perfect time for that intentionality of, I'm going to steal that and do it myself, just sort of say, okay, let me reflect and let me look at what do I want the next year to look like in terms of my own experience of this and how I weave it into my life and how I make sure that I don't miss things, that are, and also how do I contribute back to this bigger circle? How do I consciously do things that maybe somebody else will be grateful for and I won't even ever know it? How do we weave it all in? I love that, resetting the compass. What a beautiful idea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and like you said, they may not even know it. Like even in the grocery store or in a line of traffic or just anywhere. Sometimes in the grocery store, just sharing a smile with someone, you don't. They'll smile back, and you don't know maybe how much it really did touch them. How thankful they are that you shared that smile with them. Maybe they were dealing with some challenges that day, and they felt nobody was smiling. And your smile was the one that made a difference in their whole day. And you may never know that, what it meant to them. So, yeah, that is so true. We don't know how much it means to others when we show something so simple, or holding a door open for someone when they're walking into a store. It's just showing that there's still the kindness and the thankfulness out there in this world that we can share in such small ways and not know the big impact that we may be making on others.
Yeah, and I think that's where if we all were to walk through the world with a little bit of that idea, what a ripple effect. It's like, I know we've spoken in the past about wild kindness, and it's a similar thing, and I think gratitude and thankfulness and kindness so often go hand in hand. It's wheeling the grocery cart into the back to the return cart place as opposed to leaving it in the middle of the parking lot where it rolls around and dents somebody's car, and then here this person now has to deal with the car repair when who knows what life was already handing them. And now they have, it's like, where can we say to ourselves, let me express my gratitude and thankfulness in a way that shares it with others and tries to make everybody else's lives a little bit easier too. Shoveling snow for the neighbor, once in a while, that kind of thing.
Oh, definitely. And I think of the animals, like the birds, even feeding the birds. Especially, I was over at a friend's, and she's got so many bird feeders. And, I mean, it was just it was magical. There were so many birds just everywhere. And it was just beautiful because you could just feel their gratitude that the bird feeders were full. They didn't have to go out searching for things, for food. And there it was. It was right there. And just doing something as small as that, just giving out food to the birds. And in the wintertime when it's cold, maybe having a place where they can water. I see so many times the birds come to our heated dog bowl that's outside and drinking from it. So it's just such little things that maybe we don't even think about that we're doing to help the wild animals, to help nature, to help everything out there to exist as we make this dance in life together and create that full circle web.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, and then we get it back because, like, I'm going to guess, and maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but you're at your friend's house and you're watching the birds, and then you're probably having your own moments of gratitude and thankfulness for how fun it is to watch the birds, and it's like this beautiful synergistic relationship. And when we let thankfulness be one of our core values that we want to express and experience, I really think it shifts life on multiple levels, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. I think it shifts all of it. It's just a way of being in the world that is so incredibly beautiful.
Yes. Oh, so true. And yes, I was so thankful that morning that they were there. It was just beautiful. I saw quite a few robins, and I actually thanked them. I said, thank you, birds, for making it so magical out here today. You're just gorgeous.
I've had the same experience with squirrels in the backyard where I'll catch, somebody will be doing antics across the fence and with an apple in their, his or her mouth and all this whole thing, and it brings me such joy to stop and watch. And the same thing, I'll be like, oh, thank you for that. You just made my whole afternoon much better by your, chasing around each other and playing with the apple and who's going to take it up the tree. And, they probably weren't trying to entertain me at all. They were probably very serious about their apple, but it really lifted my heart.
Yes. Oh, and that is what, to me, it is all about. It's just those little things. Like you said, it just really lifted your heart to see them, and they weren't thinking anything of it. They were just going about their normal daily business, and yet it made such an impact on you because you took the time to stop and notice it. And that's where the beauty is, and the thankfulness and the gratefulness is just taking those few seconds and just noticing something really simple, just even the way the sound of the wind is through the trees. I just love that. I can just hear it, and it's just such a beautiful feeling, and just thankful that there are the trees. And I thank the trees all the time for everything that they provide, for the windbreaks, for the shade in the summer, and this fall the leaves have been absolutely beautiful, and then in the spring they're green again and beautiful. So it's just amazing, and that's just part of their life. That's just what they're doing. That's their web in life, is what they offer. And when you just take that moment and experience what they are giving to this web of life and how they are making this dance complete, it is just a beautiful experience.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And you make me think of the food that we all eat, whether it's animals or plants or both. We're taking into our bodies this incredible nourishment, and And that is a common time, of course, for people to be thankful, before they eat,
Mm-hmm.
But we can take that to such a deep level of just really being thankful for all of this bounty, the things that it requires for us to even live, come right from this earth and, give their lives for us. Again, plants are animals, It's like we're in such a deep, tight-knit dance that gratitude is, to me, the most important string that ties us all together.
Oh, I so agree with you. I just love that because, it's what ties us all together. The gratitude and just being thankful and grateful. It just brings the full circle web and starts to, I almost think of it like a spider web. It's just weaving it all together, and what a beautiful web that is when we can all come together and be thankful and grateful for what each and every one of us offer to the other. So, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Deb, I knew this show would go so very quickly because there's so much to touch on being thankful and grateful, and you have offered so many tips to our listeners to help them to maybe just take a moment and be thankful and grateful. And before we close the show, would you please share with our listeners the best ways to connect with you, Deb?
Absolutely. I would love to connect with folks. I have a website, wild-rhythms.com, and I've also got social media, Instagram, Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Sacred Connection, Earth, Animals, and Spirit. And I would definitely welcome any listeners to reach out through any of those channels and chat further and dig deeper into all these beautiful concepts.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving, since we're only a little over a week away when we have done this show. So I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and a magical month ahead until we chat again here on Robust Lifestyle Show.
And same to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Deb. Thank you. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this amazing show with our incredible diva, Deb Matlock. Please share this show with your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember, the month of November, take that time and just stop and take a breath and be thankful and grateful and look around you at everything that's out there. And just try to live from the heart. And as Deb and I have spoken, there is no right or wrong way. You're on your own spiritual journey. Each and every one of us are. And just do what feels the best to you to experience being thankful and grateful for everything that is around you. And with that, I want to wish everyone a very magical day. Remember, be kind to all. Give your animals a great big extra hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. And until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.